little background, Piss and Bile is about two waitresses who are having a bit of a terrible time in life and are trying to sort of figure out what they want, who they want to be, and if they can be happy with that. There's a lot of sort of moral questions throughout, and they sort of bicker back and forth, and it sort of debates the idea of how much can you say and how much does that actually change things in real life. The little section we're doing is quite near the start of the play, so we're sort of in the Act 1, Act 2 area, and we've just sort of met them and started to understand their characters in terms of where we're starting. Daniela, did you want to add anything?
I think so. Just the idea is that it's set mainly in the restaurant where the two women work, and that it kind of dots between that location and the underground.
I think it's the tube in one scene. Yeah.
I should know really. But yeah, no, I think that's everything.
Yeah, we'll get started. I'm going to be reading some stage directions for the actors, and Yo's going to do some voiceover stuff. So that's just.
I feel like I'm always waiting for my boobs to come in.
Since I was a child, I felt weird about having breasts, bosoms, wongas, willy wonkas, tits, titties, breasticles, boobies, baps, bread rolls, jugs, cups, plates, knives, nips, nipples, nippy news, pointy bits, madonnas, sacks of flesh, udders, part of my fucking body.
I didn't know how to feel about them. At first, I wanted them, like, really wanted them. Like, stuffing loo roll in my little training bra to know what it would feel like to have them. To feel sexy.
Because they are sexy, right? I mean, underwear and clothing was there to accentuate them, make them feel bigger and rounder and fuller and perkier. And otherwise, what's the point? Girls who had them at school were somehow so much cooler and more mature, and boys would look at them like, wow. And men would look at them like, wow.
And then I really didn't want them. They got in the way when I tried to sleep on my front, and my shirt stopped fitting properly, and then they'd hurt when I ran up the stairs, and bras would cut into my skin, and men would look at them.
When I was in secondary school, my younger sister had massive ones, and I was so jealous because I had nothing. Everything was just so small, and I didn't have any sex drive or sexual desires and any of that stuff. And then suddenly I did, but I didn't have the boobs to go with it, so it just didn't feel right. I mean, I never felt right.
I feel like I'm always waiting for my boobs to come in.
Have you got a spare pen?
No, sorry.
Woman 2 looks around the space and is unsuccessful in finding a pen to write with. She asks the audience, perhaps. If they give her a pen, she tells them it wouldn't work for the plot. She gets out her phone instead and walks back to Woman 1 and joins her staring.
What do we do?
No clue. How long have they been like this?
What, stood like this?
Yeah.
I guess they've been there a while. Maybe the whole time.
What, you mean like always? Just watching like that?
Oh God, that's so creepy. Do you think they can hear us?
No idea.
Hey! Guess not.
Yeah, I guess not. I don't like it.
Maybe they're just pretending.
What, like bluffing?
Yeah. Maybe we should bluff too.
Like a double bluffing?
I'm lost now, if I'm honest.
You're lost? I don't think you know what bluffing is.
No, you're right.
I often am.
You make a good point.
Well, we can't just stand here and do nothing.
They stand and do nothing for a period of time.
I didn't get that part-time job, by the way, you know. The shitty one.
The shitty one or the shitty one?
The shitty one.
Oh, mate, I'm sorry.
They stare out at the audience again.
It's well past 9. I guess we should let him in.
Why?
Well, that one's been waving at us and pointing to his watch for some time now.
God, what do they want?
I guess they want to be served.
Why on earth would they want that?
I don't know. People behave in the most unusual ways sometimes.
That they do. All right, I'm gonna let them in.
You need a pen.
Yeah, shit. Have you got one?
No.
Spotlight on woman 2. She carefully reveals a mic and a mic stand. She stands close to the mic so that the audience can hear her every breath. The spotlight is intimate, and there is a soft green light in the background. There is eerie music playing, which gets louder as the scene goes on.
I had an awful dream last night. More of a nightmare, really. I woke up, went to get ready for work, and I looked in the mirror, and they were gone. My eyebrows, just like that, vanished. Like Voldemort, but with more nose. I rang my mum in the dream, cried down the phone, and she told me to not be such a baby and grow up. So I told her to fuck off. It was very real. I tried to draw them on with a Sharpie, but it looked awful. Then I tried to scrub them off with a kitchen sponge, and that made it so much worse. Suddenly I remembered I was late for work, and like all dreams, I blinked, and I was on the tube. I wore a woolly hat to cover my shame. It was summer, on the Northern Line. Someone tried to talk to me, asking me for directions or something, but I just ignored them. Didn't look up from my phone, Googling the property prices for one-bedroom flat in Australia, readying my escape. I got to work, uneven caterpillars hovering above my eyes, and I just cried. All day at work, wept. No one said anything. No one seemed to notice. I'm sure there's a moral in there somewhere, a subconscious fear. When you dream of your teeth all falling out, it means you're stressed, I think. And I've had that before. I woke up with this feeling of crumbling teeth filling my mouth and blocking my airways, choking me. But this was different, worse somehow. This time I woke up sweating and shaking. The bed was drenched. I ran to the toilet to check my eyebrows. All there, thank God. I don't think I'll ever go near them with a pair of tweezers again. It's not worth the risk. These bad boys are my best asset. On fleek, as they say.
The music cuts. Lights change back to general wash. She moves the mic stand to the side and gets out a pad of paper and a pen.
Anyway, so that's how I am today. Thank you for asking. A bit on edge, as you can imagine. But I'm always a bit on edge in this place. I often daydream about quitting, just running for the hills. Imagine that.
She imagines that.
Actually, do you know what? I've been thinking about this for ages now, and I don't want to do this stupid job. I don't want to wait on you people and clean up after strangers for my whole life. I mean, these are my golden years. This is it. So I'm going to march right home and print out my notice. I've had it saved on my desktop for 5 weeks. Bam! What do you think about that, Janet? I'll finish my shift first, of course. Can you imagine? Just walking out right now. How funny. Anyway, can I get you some water for the table to start?
Scene 7. Fit man on train. 2 spotlights on woman 1 and woman 2, sat next to each other. There is the sound of trains rumbling through tunnels. Woman 1 makes eye contact with a man sat opposite them, spotlight on an audience member. They make eye contact a second time, and woman 1 looks away. Woman 2 notices and grins at woman 1.
He's fit.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if he's a shit person or not.
What?
Well, what if you meet someone, briefly in passing, and they are, fit, but they open their mouth for 0.5 of a second, and your brain writes them off?
Well, sure. But you can still, objectively think that they're really fit. I mean, everyone chats shit.
But Do you ever wonder if you've jumped the gun? Because you might be missing out, actually, because you made that split decision to put them in the cunt category.
Well, you know what they say, Honey's no effect. You know, I'm not entirely sure I'm likeable in the first 0.5 seconds of meeting me. I mean, I'm not sure I'm always projecting loveliness.
Yeah, to be fair, when I first met you, I thought you were a bit of a,
What?
What? No, I mean that I'm like just agreeing with you about first impressions. They can be wrong.
Go on then. What was your first impression of me?
Anyway, I just thought you were a bit, you know, maybe.
Are you calling me a cunt?
No. A bit, maybe. My point is, now I know you, and you're not. So yeah, I agree with your point.
Woman 1 points at the person on the tube she's staring at.
You see this bloke, right? He's a good-looking chap, broad shoulders, thick hair, good dress sense. But then he opens his mouth.
The guy fucking pissed himself!
Ruined. He's opened his mouth and ruined it. 0.5 of a second, and it's like a buzzer goes off in my head. Is love patiently waiting for someone, only for them to do something so fucking awful that you have to put them straight in the bin? I don't want to be patient. I want to be loved 100% by someone fucking brilliant.
Even if you are a bit of a cunt?
There are currently delays on all lines. If I were you, I'd stop being such a lazy shit and just walk.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Spotlights snap off to a general wash. Woman 1 and 2 stand up. Woman 2 leaves the stage.